Hello, my beautiful mythical creatures. Ace here, he, she, and we're back with another Podfic. Same one as Someone Like You by Sparky Pesker on AO3. We're on chapter 7. Yeah, 7. So, on with the chapter. Izuku's last day at Aldera Middle School was just like any other. Izuku's last day at Aldera Middle School was just a week away. He knew he needed to start looking for a high school options. Wow. If he was going to be able to continue his education, his education. There we go. It didn't take long for Izuku to realize that when it came to the conditions of being a crime fighter, Inko never mentioned anything about having to go to high school. Hell, she never even said that he had to graduate middle school. Izuku had known Inko long enough to know that she always meant what she said and what she didn't say. She didn't care one way or another about his education. As far as she was concerned, if he didn't go to high school, she couldn't be blamed. A lot of people don't go to high school. And there's only a handful in the entirety of Japan that accepted quirkless students. If he didn't cut it, Inko couldn't be called a bad mother. He didn't go to high school. Inko couldn't be called bad mother. Him not going to high school would just be a fact of life. Middle school was about the same. She couldn't be blamed if he wasn't able to complete the requirements for graduation. Quirkless people just weren't smart enough to do things normal people couldn't do. As if being quirkless meant you couldn't add 2 + 2. Frankly, if it wasn't a normal thought process that he had been privy to his whole life, he would be insulted. Izuku spent a little bit of time combing through the information about schools in Japan that accepted quirkless students and came up with the same thought patterns. They were more like daycare centers. The quirkless students were separated from the rest of the student body and given manual tasks that just met the requirements for graduation. There is no possibility of academic success at those institutions. That is not what Izuku was looking for. He wanted something that would challenge him, something that would push him to enhance his critical thinking skills, and would give him markable traits. He spent the next few hours after that looking at online options. They were actually preferable all around because then Izuku wouldn't have wouldn't have to put up with being demeaned in real life. It was less likely that he would be classmates with someone who would know him. So it's more likely that he would actually be treated with the same respect as any other student. Fortunately, all the online schools based in Japan are had an anti-discrimination clause. Those were usually meant for people who had villainous quirks or mutation quirks. But the verbiage words verbiage in the way in which something is expressed, wording or direction. Speech or writing that uses too many words or exclusively technical expressions. But the verbiage was vague enough that he could use it as a reason to deny them access to his quirk registration. Unfortunately, all of them only offer the same basic classes: math, history, science, language arts, etc. There was no electives beyond just average versions of the core subjects. He wanted something more, something that would be far beyond what just a normal education would provide. He debated looking at schools outside of Japan, but didn't know where to start. Maybe China, the US. But if he did that, he would have to be careful of which institution he chose. Japan went through an xenophobia. It's a phobia. We're looking it up. Dislike of which is perceived to be foreign or strange. Xenophobia is the fear or dislike of anything in which is provided to be foreign or strange. Xenophobia? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Japan went through an xenophobia phase shortly before All Might had his debut. During that time, the greatly diminished what out-of-country schools they would recognize as a legitimate education. When All Might debuted with his red, white, and blue American-style getup and changed society's mind about working with those outside the country, the borders were open to allow in businesses and students outside of Japan. But the rules about education didn't relax quite as much. Politicians wanted to make sure they could mold the minds of the of Japan's young and set very specific standards about what could and couldn't be taught. Excuse me. They weren't going to just give that up. Izuku hesitated. Those schools would be much more expensive, and he would have a hard time coming up with the money to pay tuition. Well, he may as well check. It's not like he had to choose one right that second. If he didn't find what he was looking for, he would only go back to step 1. It's not like he would go back any further. China was going to be the first place he checked. It's closer, and there's a good chunk of politicians that are friendly with those in Japan. So there's more schools that are accredited. Not only that, but they have a much larger population. So statistically, they would have more options to choose from. Well, that was a big no. Good buddy. There would be more schools. There might be more schools, and he even hesitated to call them that. But they are worse than schools in Japan. Each institution is a combination physical and online campus. The physical locations are dumping stats of quirkless and other unwanted individuals. That way they would say they didn't check quirkless statuses. It's because they didn't care one way or another. The institutions survive on minimum government subsides and volunteers. The tuition that the online students pay goes straight into the pockets of the owners. The students never see a thing. The children in the physical location are adopted, sold into human trafficking, or die of starvation. The online students never see a The students never see a thing. The children in the physical location are adopted, sold into human trafficking, or died of starvation. The online students are offered a are offered a multitude of job opportunities upon graduation. Lucky for Izuku, they kept immaculate records. Those accepted the job offers are sold to the highest bidders and then just disappear. The worst part? This is normal. There's no law against this business practice. They don't talk about it because if they did, then it would never if they did, then it would never have looked at this in the first place. But they're looked at it in the first place. But there's no law against it. My voice is cracking right now, and I don't know why. There's no law against it. But if Izuku had to be completely honest, he wasn't surprised. Over the centuries, many different countries have taken advantage of the black market to fund themselves. That didn't make it right, but there is also nothing a single person could do about it. At least, not right now. As much as Izuku would like to believe he would be the one to change things, he needed to be realistic. The world will not be made right in his lifetime. The best he could do is be a good role model and hope that enough people take his ideals to heart and fix things in the future. Izuku sighed. Maybe he should just skip high school. He knows he hasn't looked at everything yet, but with what he found, he was feeling dejected. He was starting to believe that he was the last of a dying breed. He needed some advice. He logged into the Quirkless forum and noticed some notifications of unread messages on the group chat. He took a few minutes to read back. No soup for you. What's everyone doing? Freakazoid. Not a lot. Just playing some games. Big Brother 23. I'm on my way to work. Night shift. Deku. I'm looking into high schools. CSI guy. Good luck. I went to one, and I may as well have been in elementary school. No soap for you. I didn't go to high school. Big Brother 23. Me neither. Freakazoid. I didn't either. Izuku. I'm trying to find one out of country, but not having much luck. CS guy. Oh yeah, I've heard that Japan is actually one of the better countries for quirkless education. Big Brother 23. Yikes. That's a scary thought. Freakazoid. Hey, I just remembered. I got a cousin in the US who has a quirk, by the way. And when they were in high school, they were doing some sort of project. And long story short, they were mouthing off last Christmas that it wasn't fair that the quirkless got a special school that had connections to Ivy League universities and scholarships for free schooling. Deku. Oh, what is it called? Freakazoid. It's called St. Dam's School for the Quirkless. It's supposed to be pretty elite. I'm actually kind of bummed I didn't hear about it until long after I was eligible to go. I could only imagine what my cousins would have said if I told him I was a student. I'm sure the look on his face would have been chef kiss. Deku, thanks, I'll look into it. Smiley. No soup for you. You may want to do that quickly then. Graduation is just around the corner. Izuku logged off with a small smile. Talking to them always made him feel better. He went to a search engine and typed in the school's name. They were also a hybrid education. Their website showed pictures of a beautiful desert campus, a statue that had recently this a statue had recently it in words erect in the cactus garden of their founder. It was originally built hundreds of years ago in an effort to make sure the dwindling quirkless population had access to quality education. I said it! Izuku was intrigued. The website claimed they accept students all over the world. And the best part? Their diplomas were recognized in Japan. The founders must have had some very powerful friends in some very high places. The next thing Izuku took a look at was their curriculum and electives. They said they could get their students accepted into any university of their choice, and as proof, they claimed the most diverse set of electives, and they were not wrong. Izuku wasn't sure if there was going to be any other institutions that offered what they did. Not only were their classes available in quirk analysis, but also in computer science, criminal science, neutron, the process of providing or obtaining the food necessary for health and growth, nutrients, finances, and law. Izuku really believed this school took education seriously. He would take classes that he would not only enjoy, but also that would greatly benefit him in a crime fighter. But just to be safe, Izuku took a look under the hood. Figure of speech. Metaphorically speaking. He cracked into their site to take a look at their finances and the background of their governing body and their instructors. Everything seemed to be above board. Izuku took a look at their tuitions and as expected of an elite school, they had an elite price. But thank God, Freakazoid was right. There were scholarship options for qualifying students. My battery's dying. It's at 70%. I'm almost done. Considering his finances and intelligence, Izuku was confident he could make it work. Before he could double guess himself, Izuku sent his application. This was going to be the best school he found, and he was not going to allow his education to slip through his fingers. That's the end of Chapter 7. Chapter 8 will be up next. I'm going to read a little bit into Chapter 8 so you guys know what's going on. And that will be all of this video because, again, my laptop's dying. A mere week after applying at St. Dames, Izuku's grades from middle school, there was a little fanfare at the ceremony. And that's all, my beautiful creatures. Goodbye until next time. Stay hydrated and eat donuts. Bye bye.